Meantime, the city of Austin has made a very important discovery.
They believe they have found about 25 burial sites for people dating back to the 1800s.
The remains were discovered underneath the Oakwood Cemetery Chapel.
Fox 7's Casey Claiborne is live from the cemetery to explain how this happened and what the city's next move could be. Casey.
Mike and Rebecca, in 2012, voters approved spending money on improving the city's cemeteries. And this chapel that was built in 1914 in a racially segregated part of the cemetery was up for a restoration. But shortly after work began late last year, bone fragments were found underneath the building.
My heart stopped when I heard that in 1914 a chapel was built on top of graves, because I'm sure at that point people knew that there were graves in that particular section of the cemetery, and so that the lack of humanity hit me at that point.
The East Austin Cemetery, now called Oakwood, was established in 1839, according to the city of Austin. In 1914, a mortuary chapel was built.
The section that we're talking about now was a segregated section called the colored grounds.
It was a processing place for people who were about to be interred here. If you went to the cemetery, this is where you went. This is where the body was taken. This is where you paid the money.
In October of 2016, construction began on rehabilitating the chapel for use as a visitor center. Due to the sensitive nature of the work, the city secured a Texas Historical Commission antiquities permit, and private archaeological firm Hicks & Company was called in to help.
And as we were going through trying to do the pier drilling to stabilize the chapel, that's when we discovered the remains.
Underneath the footprint of the Oakwood Chapel, archaeologists discovered what they believed to be an estimated 25 burial sites. Construction was immediately stopped. Since then, the team has been evaluating what's there.
We don't want people disturbing anything. We don't want people going in, trying to look at, because this, as I said in my comments, this is holy ground to me and to my community. And so I ask that people be respectful.
So the question of the day, what now? Parks and Rec Historic Resources Manager Kim McKnight says they'll be asking the public what they want.
We would expect a very large degree of interpretation, commemoration, and quite frankly, an element of reclamation for this site, and we hope to facilitate that in partnership with the community.
While visiting the site Tuesday afternoon, Fox 7 ran into City Cemetery advocate Sharon Blythe.
I came here today to pay my respects to them, quite frankly.
Blythe believes the city has more investigating to do after Oakwood.
Because every cemetery in the city of Austin probably has the same situation, and the city council needs to think more globally about the cemeteries.
What she would like to see happen is the chapel shored up and moved to Austin Memorial Park.
Then they can honor these people that are in that chapel more appropriately, and make sure that people know that this never happens again.
Fred McGee is an archaeologist and cemetery advocate. He says the city is doing the right thing by involving the public.
What it will require ultimately, because this is a municipal cemetery, is political will on the part of our elected officials. Because I guarantee you, in a growing city like Austin, this isn't going to be the last time something like this happens.
McGee says whether or not Austin knew there were bodies at the site in 1914 is the wrong question.
Whether they knew or not, it didn't matter. They were going to build, because black lives didn't matter.
Again, the city will be holding a public meeting on this subject. That is Saturday, March the 25th from 10 a.m. to noon at the Dolores Duffy Recreation Center. They're also recommending putting together a working group to determine what their next steps will be. Back to you.